justice and peace and equality.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation, and we're back with Mrs. Aisha Ellen. Keep making Bill beautiful. Man, I got that right. We 3 takes in. And I finally got that right. It's been an honor having you on our show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
For coming down to what Sheriff Reginald Scandrick called God's country.
Oh, okay.
You
That's what the Henry County McDonald's called. Okay.
God's country, you know. Yeah, you know, where and we were talking about not just keeping making Bill beautiful, but keeping America beautiful. Mm-hmm. And how people can personally start in their own home with recycling. Let's go back to the landfills and what's happening. The expectation in 30 years. What's going on?
Well, you know, like I said, I attended a Keep America Beautiful conference in Washington, D.C. this past February.
Okay.
And one of the presenters shared that if in America, if we don't make some adjustments and changes as it pertains to how we dispose of our waste or how we reduce our waste, that within the next 30 years, our landfills will be non-existent.
Right.
And then so if our landfills are all over full, then like what happens then?
Okay.
And so one of the things too that's a big part as far as Keep America Beautiful, Keep Georgia Beautiful, and even trickle down to the local levels with affiliates like Keep Making Bill Beautiful, is really trying to focus more on educating our community about recycling and other waste reduction initiatives. Okay. And so we have had the opportunity to apply, and hopefully we'll be receiving some grants that are specifically centered around recycling and waste reduction initiatives. Perfect. And so, but some of the things though that we can all do, as you can see, I got my little plastic bottle here, yes. and typically, usually I have my reusable tumbler.
Yes.
But this particular day I was rushing, so I had to stop by the racetrack and get something to drink. But but something that we can all simply do is just recycle this bottle. And so and making beer. I'm working. Hopefully, will be if we receive these funds from this grant, we'll be doing a couple of pilots within a couple of our elementary schools. Because recycling can also be, it can be, for some people it might be a little nerve-wracking, a little stressful, because you also have to know like what your local municipality will or will not take. So for example, glass can be recycled, but in Macon Bibb, we don't have a glass recycling processing center, I guess, that we work with. So you can't recycle glass in Macon Bibb, even though glass can be recycled.
Wow.
And so so the first thing that people have to know is, number one, what can be recycled from your local municipality, because that can vary.
And how do we find out that information?
I would just start with just contacting your local solid waste department or sanitation. Some cities they may call it a sanitation department, or contacting just City Hall. I would start with there. Start there. But then you may also, you can go to their various websites, because like I said, that can vary. But most places, like going back to my little plastic water bottle here, plastic will definitely can be recycled regardless of where you live. And so even if you just started from there, I mean, how much things do we have that's plastic? That's probably the biggest culprit is plastic now. With our issues as far as with our waste disposal. And so even now the beverage companies like the American Beverage Association, the Georgia Beverage Association, they're really putting in a lot of funds, trickle them through organizations like Keep America Beautiful and Keep Georgia Beautiful, Keep Making Bill Beautiful. That's where a lot of the grant funds are even coming from, those corporate organizations like the beverage associations. Because this is a cost for them. So if this bottle could be recycled, and then it could go back to a Coca-Cola, a Pepsi-Cola, or whoever, so they can, replenish it and reuse it. That's a cost savings for them. And so that's why the beverage associations are really getting behind investing dollars into recycling programs. So for organizations such as mine, so we can go out to the community and do the education and the programming. So once again, it takes a collaborative effort, and everything goes back to money. And so
yes, it goes to the
goes
dollar.
back to economics and resources in the dollar.
Yes, it does.
So that's what our focus is going to be. We're in our new fiscal year. We start July. Our year runs from July 1 through June 30th. So we're at the beginning now of our new fiscal year. And hopefully when school resumes in the fall, we will be working more. We've been doing recycling education. The Georgia curriculum has it in the curriculum, so kids are learning about recycling and making bill, but it's not being practiced. And so that's the part that we're trying to sort of bridge that gap and sort of fill in, maybe to assist our local school system with these recycling programs.
Now, and more, and I'm gonna say this, in more like even lower middle class homes, we are paying for trash to have trash come pick up. What are some of the ways we can reduce that burden on citizens? And I guess maybe that those corporations say, hey, we're gonna provide, because we want to make this city or this community beautiful. How can we provide every citizen in this community with a recycle bin? Because some people, like, I know it, even in my neighborhood, and I stay in a upper middle class neighborhood, and man, everybody don't have a recycling trash. Like, hey man, I'm gonna put this on my bill just to recycle. So how do we even get that mindset?
Well, we're not there yet either.
Okay.
But I do know I was actually on a webinar with one of the recycling associations, and some municipalities, I can't remember if it was, because the mayor of New Orleans was on this particular call, but then there was also someone from the West Coast as well too. So I might be getting them mixed up. But one of those local municipalities, they actually have what they call an opt out as far as with recycling. So now in most of our communities, where I can only speak for Macon Bill, it's an opt-in. If like I have a recycling bin, I had to request that recycling bin. But in some municipalities, you automatically get a recycling bin, and you have to request to not get it. If that makes sense. And so it has been done. I'll have to go back and do my research, because like I said, the mayor of New Orleans was on this particular webinar that I was on, but also someone from the West Coast as well. I know the West Coast is very, particularly like in California, my son is in San Diego, so it's recycling in those communities is very big. In the South, it's a little bit more of a struggle, but there are people who do recycle. I think the education first has to be there, and then also too, as far as the resources. Now, in Macon Bill, they don't charge you extra for a recycling bin. So but each
so you
person
can just request it.
You can just request it, but each person though has to check with their individual municipality to see how that part works.
Correct.
But the key with the recycling is also recycling correctly. Because even though it may not cost me to have my recycling bin, if I'm putting the wrong items, if I'm putting trash in my blue recycling bin, that is an actual fine and a penalty that goes back to the municipality when they send it to the recycling processing facility. Again, everything goes back to money, and everything has a cost. So, that's why the recycling education, starting, within our school system and building from there, just like how we learn everything else, we have to learn how to recycle. But the easiest thing to do is even if you just recycle plastic bottles or aluminum cans, like, you can't go wrong as far as that route. And that like I said, the plastic really is the biggest culprit that's being found, because since about the 50s or 60s, we've had more of an increase of, at one point in time, I remember where there was not bottled water. You got your water out of the faucet. And now we have whole aisles and convenience store doors, and so that's more plastic that's going, most of it in our landfills, or thrown on the side of the road, which is definitely a no-no. The easiest thing what I tell people is start with the plastic bottles. If you don't do anything else, recycle your plastic bottles. And how you can reduce this is have your own water bottle, refillable water bottle, versus constantly, and it'll save you some money too, versus constantly spending $2 on a bottle of water.
Man, I'm telling you, and I'm like, man. And it's funny because now bottled water is on the epidemic because they're telling you, oh man, you can catch this from bottled water.
Because if people, everything is produced whenever it's produced in a warehouse. It's produced, in a manufacturing plant. So it's anything has a risk, when you start mass producing. So so that's one good way as far as to recycle your plastic bottle, but reduce your consumption as far as the purchasing of it, and just carry your own water bottle. That'll help save you some money, and that'll also help reduce the increase that we're seeing in our landfills.
Awesome. Now I work also closely with the mayor of Ocilla, Mayor Melvin D. Harper II. He's the mayor of Ocilla, and when we were interviewing him, he invited me to the Sweet Potato Fest that those guys are happening down in Ocilla. They have it every year. It drives people down to good old Ocilla, Georgia. And you talked about the Cherry Blossom Fest. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the Cherry Blossom Fest and the role that Keep Making Bill Beautiful plays in that, and the value that it brings, and what it does to that community. Oh, yeah. Because I'm excited about coming.
Okay, so you've never been?
I've never been.
Okay, all right. I'll make sure you have the dates. It's always in March, usually the second, third weeks. Okay. It's a 10-day festival.
Wow.
But just an unknown fact that a lot of festival goers are unaware of is that the Cherry Blossom Festival's connection with Keep Making Bill Beautiful is that the founding executive director of Keep Making Bill Beautiful, Carolyn Creighton, is also the founder of the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Okay.
Keep Making Bill Beautiful was founded in 1974. The Cherry Blossom Festival began, I think, 1982.
Wow.
But it started as an event that was hosted by Keep Making Bill Beautiful.
Okay.
So it was an event hosted by Keep Making Bill Beautiful. It was just a one-day event, and it was hosted to celebrate Mr. William Ficklin, who was very instrumental in providing and giving out free cherry blossom tree saplings to the community in Macon Bill.
Okay.
And his birthday happens to fall during the season when the trees blossom.
Wow. Wow.
And so it was more so like a birthday party, thank you celebration for him that grew into the massive 2-week festival, international festival, in which it is today. And so my office actually is housed in the Cherry Blossom headquarters, downtown Macon. The Pink House is the only pink building on Cherry Street in Macon. But we now, the organizations used to operate as one, but now they for over a decade, maybe even longer, they've been separate organizations. So even though my office is inside the Cherry Blossom headquarters, we operate completely separate. We're two separate entities. They're their own 501c3. They have their own board of directors. Gotcha. We're completely separate. Whereas, like I said, years ago, it was all one board. The organizations were combined. But as the festival continued to grow and grow and grow, it was separated. So, but it's a great time. It's a great event. It brings a lot of tourist dollars to Macon Bill. Yes. So I'll make sure you know those dates. I don't know the dates off the top of my head, but yes. But it's always a fun event. It always kicks off with sort of like the opening ceremonies, and then it goes into the parade, and then each day there are different things, different activities at Carolyn Creighton Park, which was formerly known as Central City Park. Every day with the festival, with the rides, but there's also live entertainment and food. So yeah, it's definitely a great event.
I'm looking forward to coming to it next year. I thought so it's not in the fall, it's in the spring when everything blossoms. It's in the spring
because that's when the trees actually blossom. The trees are very because it's not a native tree. It's a cherry blossom. It's a Japanese Yoshino. Which is the variety of cherry blossom tree that we're known for. But what Keep Making Bill Beautiful has done as far as because a lot of our trees, the trees have a life expectancy of 30 years. And so a lot of the trees throughout Macon are 50 years old.
Right.
And so through a grant that we received from the Ficklin Family Foundation, we were able to update or replace a lot of the aging trees that were no longer blossoming.
Okay.
But we're also able to add more varieties of cherry blossom trees. So we're known for the Yoshinos, but if we were in Japan, there's like 100 different varieties of cherry blossom trees.
Oh, man.
So we were able to introduce a couple of new varieties to have different, pink blossoms throughout town. So that's our role that we contributed was with the planting and the revitalization of the existing cherry blossom trees.
Cherry blossom trees. Now, what being that I heard you say something about you guys plant trees. Macon is growing, Macon Bibb is growing. How are you guys coordinating with developers who cut down trees?
Well, and in order to grow in areas, particularly in some of the rural outskirts, trees unfortunately will have to come down. We don't necessarily work closely with the developers because a lot of the developers are private, So, But when it comes to maybe development that's more tied in with the local government,
right.
That's when we can, work more so with our commissioners as far as making sure that even though we know some of the trees are going to have to come down, that we're still having an adequate treescape in our development.
Because you guys have I believe that bridge going through Macon now, transferring from Savannah. It's a big thing going on.
Yeah, it's been going on for about 20 years. So I think they got 10 more years or so to go.
Yes. And now anything you like to share with our audience before we know you guys on a tight schedule. We know you guys. Thank you for coming out here to the station, sharing your story. We look forward to sharing that story in the 10-year anniversary of Game Changers Magazine. Anything you'd like to share with our audience before you go?
What I do want the audience to know, because I know you have a national scope, and so even though we're talking about Keep Making It Beautiful, under the greater umbrella, you do have Keep America Beautiful.
Okay.
And so I would recommend to anyone that regardless of where you live throughout the state of Georgia, throughout, the country, that you first look and see, is there a Keep America Beautiful affiliate in your local town?
Wow.
Right here in Georgia, there's about 70 throughout the state. So whether you're in Middle Georgia in Macon or my neighbor in Warner Robins, or in Dublin, but Atlanta, College Park, check and see if there is an affiliate in your local community. Because as I stated earlier, growing up, I did not know. Even with all the work that Keep Making It Beautiful was doing, I did not know that this organization existed. Because if I did, I think I would have been more involved, maybe even during my teens and young adult years. So I definitely just recommend, wherever you are, to the listeners, check and see if there is an affiliate in your area, and if it's not, you can start one up. That's just a matter of reaching out to Keep America Beautiful. So throughout the country, there's over 700 affiliates throughout the country, and in our state of Georgia, there's about 70 or so.
Okay. Now, I before we go, I remember you said you had a degree in marketing from Georgia Southern down in Statesboro.
Yeah.
How does your marketing degree play into the role of where you're at today for those young people? Like you just said, if we knew we were younger, we would have got into this. But how does that journey of Aisha, Ellen, play into, molding that young person to say, hey, it's a better tomorrow?
Yeah. What I learned as far as it helped me, I didn't know it at the time because, of course, that was 30 plus years ago, but I didn't realize how that degree, at first that marketing degree was just for me to be able to start a career, get a job.
Yeah.
And now though, some 30 years later, that marketing degree was preparing me on how to market me.
Come on now.
But I was able to take everything that I learned, all of my experiences from, my background starting off as a 21-year-old in retail management and then transitioning over to, to the consumer products goods industry, working for Coca-Cola. But then also using that same degree to work for the district attorney's office and as the director of outreach and in my current position now. So I would tell any young person, regardless, like I said, my degree was marketing. Everybody has a marketing degree, whether you got that degree or not.
Yeah.
You know, whether you actually got the paper hanging on the wall
Absolutely.
stating we all have the ability to be able to market ourselves.
Correct,
So,
correct.
So, you know, looking back now, like I stated earlier, in 1994, when I walked across that stage in Statesboro, I did not realize that at that time that marketing degree was really going to help me with marketing myself.
Wow. Wow, that what a thing, marketing myself. You guys take notes. We got Aisha, Ellen of Keep Making Bill Beautiful in the building. Shout out to Commissioner Stewart.
Yes, Commissioner Stanley Stewart.
Come on now, he's in the building
He's
as
in
well, man. Shout out to Commissioner Stanley Stewart, making Peel County
and my grandmama's here too, y'all.
Shout out, you know, her grandmother's here, beautiful soul. You know, glad she came on the road and glad, you know, we got a whole office full, man, and this whole studio full. We want to thank you for taking the time out and sharing your journey, sharing your story. You guys stay tuned, tune in every week as we give you somebody special that's changing the game in your local community. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation.
And equality. Now the world they will see.